In the first case, Michael Fesser, a man from West Lynn, shares his experience of being wrongfully arrested in 2017 and the subsequent legal proceedings. Here's a breakdown of the events. Michael Fesser was wrongfully arrested in 2017 for reasons he couldn't understand. He felt that his experience highlighted issues within the West Lynn community and the police department.
Everyone in West Lynn is not bad. I understand that. And just the healing process of what we want to do. And I just don't want to have conversations. We have to find space, find somewhere, find the people in West Lynn that really wants change and the healing process to start, to step up and say, this is what we're going to do. This is what we need to do. We need you guys here as well as we need to be there so we can feel accepted coming in your community.
A West Lynn police sergeant, Tony Reeves, arrested Fesser as a favor to a friend, which later came to light. This incident sparked outrage in the community as it was seen as a clear case of racial profiling and misuse of power. Fesser emphasizes the need for the healing process to begin and for members of the community to come together to promote change and acceptance. Sergeant Tony Reeves was convicted of official misconduct and sentenced to probation, community service, and cultural diversity training. However, Fesser feels that the main players involved in his arrest faced no significant consequences. Fesser's wrongful arrest stemmed from a situation at his workplace where he reported racist actions by other employees. His boss asked Sergeant Reeves to open a criminal investigation against Fesser as a response. Fesser's lawsuit claims that another sergeant and the police chief manufactured a case against him, alleging he was stealing from the company. Text messages between Reeves and Fesser's former boss containing racist and homophobic remarks were eventually discovered, providing momentum to Fesser's claims. Fesser expresses that his case is not unique and that it's just one instance that was exposed, highlighting systemic issues. Fesser sued the West Lynn Police Department and received a settlement of $600,000 for being racially profiled and falsely arrested. The incident sheds light on the importance of addressing systemic racism within law enforcement agencies and the legal system. It also underscores the need for accountability and transparency to prevent such injustices from happening in the future. In the second case, we observe a situation where police officers show negligence towards a suspect's medical needs. The driver of the vehicle seems unaware of the suspect's injuries, and their subsequent treatment of the injured person raises concerns about proper care and empathy. Initially, the officers inform the suspect that he is being detained. After putting the suspect inside the car, the police officer didn't fasten the suspect's seatbelt. What makes us think if it was on purpose? Alongside the drive, after a big break, the suspect fell on the floor and ached for help.
You felt?
The officers appear unprepared to handle this situation and lack sensitivity to the suspect's condition. As the injured suspect struggles on the ground, the officers attempt to interact with him. They inquire about what happened and whether he can move. The suspect expresses his inability to move and describes the severity of his condition, indicating that his leg is in an unusual position. The officers seem unsure about how to respond appropriately. One officer mentions the need to call an ambulance, acknowledging the severity of the situation. He requests assistance from the dispatcher to send an ambulance referred to as a Signal 1 to their location. It's apparent that the situation has escalated to a medical emergency and the suspect requires immediate attention. However, the officers' handling of the situation remains concerning. They struggle to assist the injured suspect, and their actions appear to lack urgency and proper medical knowledge. Despite the seriousness of the situation, the officers are seen trying to lift the suspect without providing proper support. As the incident unfolds, the officers continue to struggle with providing appropriate care, even as the injured suspect expresses pain and discomfort. The situation highlights the need for law enforcement officers to be trained in basic first aid and to recognize medical emergencies promptly. In this video, a nurse named Alex Wubbles, who is from Utah, was arrested for refusing to allow police to draw blood from an unconscious patient. The situation escalated when the police did not receive the cooperation they expected from her. Here's a breakdown of the events.
Hey, we're done, sir. I had it.
The police officers arrived at the hospital and requested to draw blood from an unconscious patient. The nurse, Alex Wubbles, informed them that they couldn't proceed without a warrant, the patient's consent, or if the patient was under arrest. Wubbles was trying to protect her patients' rights and privacy, as well as following hospital policy and legal guidelines. The police officers insisted on drawing blood and became increasingly aggressive in their demands. When Wubbles continued to refuse, one of the officers handcuffed her and forcibly removed her from the hospital. The nurse was placed under arrest, even though she was just doing her job to ensure proper procedures were followed for her patient's care. The video captured the arrest, the nurse's distress, and her commitment to upholding patient rights. The incident sparked outrage and led to an internal affairs investigation within the police department, as well as a review of policies and procedures. Alex Wubbles filed a lawsuit against the Salt Lake City Police Department, alleging her unnecessary and violent arrest. The lawsuit was eventually settled with a payout of $500,000 to Wubbles. This incident highlights the importance of respecting individuals' rights, especially in a medical context. It also underscores the need for proper training for law enforcement officers on how to handle situations involving medical professionals and patients. The video drew attention to the importance of upholding patient rights and maintaining professionalism in such situations. In this section, a person is attempting to record inside what appears to be a public lobby of a police department. A police officer approaches the individual and demands that he stop recording, stating that it's not allowed.
This is a public area. No, it's my property.
The situation becomes tense as the individual asserts his right to record in a public area and argues that there are no signs indicating recording is prohibited. The officer becomes increasingly agitated and tries to seize the individual's recording equipment, claiming it's being stolen. The officer then states that he is being arrested for interfering with the police officer. Despite the individual's protest, he is handcuffed. He continues to assert his right to record and references previous conversations with the police chief and city attorney that confirmed his right to record in a public lobby. The individual points out potential blind spots in the police department's own cameras and states that he came to the police station to file a complaint and record that complaint. The officer comments that the individual seemed level-headed during a previous interaction and mentions that he doesn't care about what happened on the previous day. This incident raises questions about the boundaries of public recording rights, transparency, and accountability when dealing with law enforcement officers in public spaces. In this video, an officer stopped a varsity football player for driving with his bright lights on. However, the situation escalated when the officer began conducting sobriety tests and questioned the driver's impairment. Despite the driver blowing 0 on a breathalyzer test, the officer insisted on arresting him. The driver later posted the video on Facebook, and the incident received attention from the local community. The driver shared that many people commented about similar experiences with the same police department. He saw his role as shedding light on the issue and trying to bring about positive change in the department. The driver hoped that the video's exposure would highlight the problems of corruption and misconduct in the Newton Police Department and similar situations in other towns. He believed that his actions could help initiate a change for the better within law enforcement agencies, and he aimed to hold them accountable for their actions. The video underscores the importance of transparency and accountability in policing and how individuals can use social media to bring attention to such incidents and advocate for positive change. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.